So, I started playing Rocket League when it first released on Epic Games for free. This was in 2020 and I was playing with two of my friends, one of which was a complete novice like myself, and the other had played for a while. And I'll be honest, I wasn't very good at first. But after many evenings and days in tournaments, we climbed our way from bronze to early diamond, and I was quite content with my skills. Like, I knew there was more for me to learn, but I felt I was competent at least. But then we stopped playing, and many in-game seasons went by where I would barely touch the game and much less ranked. But then recently, one of our other friends got us back into the game. Now just for context, last I played was around season 3 or 4, and now we're at season 15, I think. So me, the better player in our previous trio, and our other friend started playing again. But here's the thing with this guy, let's call him Turbo. You see, Turbo used to be Grand Champ at his peak, and even his Smurf account was in the champion ranks. And let's just say Turbo is very good. Meanwhile, I realized I wasn't. Like, the first few games we played together, I rarely got more than 80 points, and often only 20. The aerials were too fast for me, I was reckless and simply did not have the facilities to consistently hit the ball. But this was 2 weeks ago, and I've improved. Slightly. But that's when Turbo recommended I try using some of the community training courses, specifically something called Noob to Champion training, and I liked the sound of that. And so I found one and got the idea of making this video, so let's jump right in. So this one I found, it had a nice clickbaity title, so I thought it was good. It was good enough. Ignore the other one though. Now with the first challenge, it looked simple enough, but I had more issues than I should have had. Like, I had some troubles keeping it in the air, but after only 4 tries, I just calmed down and flipped it right in. Then the next one, just a bog standard procedure, just popped it right in. But the third one, I had some issues with, I'll admit. I didn't have any problems with hitting the ball, but was hitting it in the right direction I found quite difficult. I mainly try to hit it towards a goal, since I didn't really have the aim down correct, and sometimes I got a 2-touch, sometimes the ball went nowhere, but after a while I got really close. But then... and it went in! Now with the fourth one, I felt this was a big step up in the difficulty, and when I first saw this challenge, I thought, oh, I just need to train my ability to get in the air quickly. So that is what I did, because that's a useful thing to know. And I've already been training the speed at which I get airborne in, since I noticed that was one of my main issues with how quickly other people reached the wall. But then I noticed something different about this challenge. You see, the timer is a lot longer here, so I changed my approach. Definitely as intended. Challenge number 5 wasn't anything special really, although it took me a few times too many for my liking. But I got it with a simple 2-touch, and with that we're 10% complete. Next was a reverse shot, which took me a few times too many until I just realized I had to take it slow and just direct it in. This was one of the first really tricky ones for me, as I really struggled to even hit the ball. I just found this turn so difficult, and it didn't help that I was boosting way too early. This was one other thing, but we'll get to that later. But as soon as I managed to hit the ball, it only took a few tries to get it in. Then we had this fun little aerial where I, for the most part, was just floundering in the air like a fish out of water. And I realized, that ain't happening. So I changed to a ground approach, and after I got closer and closer, I finally got it. This was basically the same shot, but reversed. And I'll be honest, I don't know why I thought floundering in the air would work any better this time, but I quickly got my act together. And this one, I did easily on the first try. And this one, I did easily on the second try. Once again, we get to witness the majestic flying hotshot here. And once again, as soon as I stop the tomfoolery, I get closer and closer, and as soon as I realize my flips is what's doing me dirty, I send it in with a clean, straight jump. And then, here we have another kind sequence with a lot of ground time. and I'm almost certain this is not the way you're supposed to do it. Number 13, another easy effort. Pretty sure it's not supposed to bounce, but hey, I'm not complaining. Now this one took me by surprise. My first instinct was to do some form of double catapult, which seemed quite effective, and would have been easy for any adept player, but, well, you know. But while I was tirelessly doing this, a thought occurred. I'm supposed to carry the ball on my roof, aren't I? Ah! And right after finishing the shot my way, I realized I was right. Like, here I'm obviously meant to carry it there, right? But I was adamant. I was not going to yield. My catapult strategy was going to bring me victory, even though it was considerably harder to hit the ball this time. And, well, in the end, I submitted and tried it their way. Nonetheless, I finished with pure shock. And now we get to see me with a flawless dribble, bouncing the ball straight into my own goal as I slowly realize with horror that I need to turn this ship around to reach my destination. Now I tried many interesting tactics. I tried to bounce the ball against the wall, fling it in the air and turn around, even some aerial acrobatics. But mainly I tried to turn with the ball on the roof, which I'm sure that's the way you're meant to do it. And I'll mention this. My friend the Turbo told me a big flaw with these training sequences is that you can just carry the ball on your roof into goal. Which, I mean, yeah, but I feel like if you're able to do that, then you're probably already at champion level. Like, as you can see, I am not good enough to reliably do that. But after many different techniques, I decided that carrying it into goal was my best option. And this realization came after far too long a time. And while it was difficult and nigh hopeless at first, I slowly started learning and getting better and better, with more consistent results. And after about half an hour of combined effort, I failed. But then after a few more tries, wow, what a happy boy. And now, number 17, a complete breeze, thank God. Then this one seemed very difficult at first, of course nowhere near as hard as carrying it on your roof, and well, it got even easier when I noticed the time limit. Now, this one. Well, let's start from the beginning. You can see me here trying to turn as fast as possible and drive as fast as possible with different kinds of flips and spins and whatever. But after countless tries where reaching the ball seemed hopeless at best. And when I say countless, I truly mean it. I had to accept my worst fears. See, I realized very quickly what I had to do to reach the ball.
I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it.
This move is one I find particularly difficult. One I'm sure many platinum or even gold players can execute. But to me, it is one of the most difficult things I have ever done in any game. I came to the daunting conclusion that I need to learn how to do a half flip. But don't get me wrong, I've tried before, but could never get the hang of it. Turbo has tried to teach me, but with not much time to waste, we never got very far. I've watched plenty of videos and tried with all my might to learn this move. See, I understand everything I need to do to accomplish the half flip. Reverse, back flip, cancel said back flip by pulling the joystick up, then air roll and boost. That is what the videos have taught me, but I could never do it. And I tried and tried, hope leaking out of me in a deluge over my keyboard. Excluding that last dribbling sequence, this took longer than all the others combined. And well, I'll let Felix from the past take this one. You know, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not gonna learn how to speed flip because I have never seen anyone do this in a match. I've never seen anyone do this in a real match and I'm never gonna use it. Never. I'm not alone in a game. I don't need this. I will not learn that. And if I learn it, it's by chance. Alright? So now I'm gonna keep playing because never am I going to learn a half flip or speed flip, because that's useless. But remember to take his words with a grain of salt. Well anyway, next one was a kind of side approach aerial. Quite a difficult shot for a novice like... Oh, I got it on the second try. Next one was at first quite tricky, as I felt the angle was quite brutal, until I realized I could just reverse to get more control over my run-up, and thusly the shot. Next one I had to be really quick, and it seemed a two-touch method would be most consistent, and after many... Alright then. Well, this one I could tell was quite difficult, and... Oh, nice. Oh damn, that's a long ball. Well, this one... Again? Really? Well, what the? Did I do this shot already? And I've still got a lot of time. Well, this should be easy. Alright, another one of these long balls that aren't allowed to touch the ground. A very plausible shot for me to make. I just need to get the hang of it. And while getting the hang of it, I realize mid-air that the ball is in fact allowed to touch the ground. I really need to pay more attention. Alright, surely this one is allowed to... Again? Well, at least I shot from an aerial position. And here we have another theoretically hard shot that I could just bounce on the ground as much as I like. And another one. Like, I appreciate making this a lot easier for scrubs like me, but doesn't it defeat the purpose of it? Like, having the ball on the ground too much makes it a lot easier for the theoretical opposition to stop it. Not that it matters too much right now. Ah, finally, a shot that requires finesse. Of course, at this point, I've already improved quite a bit, and it seems this shot was rather easy. When I just focused. Now this one was actually tricky, but a very good shot to know in case a goal is open during a match. So I aimed to keep the ball high enough so that if I were to miss, I would be able to take a rebound. In theory, a great plan, but it seems all those previous shots gave me some hubris. And this sequence took me a few times too many for my liking, but in the end, I got it. Nice! Nice. Here we have a similar situation, just further away and with less time. And with the angle I'm forced to approach with, it seems I will have to get quite good at Rocket League geometry if I'm to hit this shot. But for the most part it goes in the right direction. However, my aim is still well off, and even achieving 2 touches proves quite difficult. But from the start, this was quite obviously one of those where I learned by repeatedly doing it over and over again. And I just keep getting closer and closer. And it becomes quite apparent that I'm really bad at catching the ball on my roof and directing it. Most definitely something I need to improve on. Of course, in the end I succeed with a simple one touch. Ooh! Here we have another one where I feel a 2-touch method would be best, and once again, I feel a great opportunity to exercise 2 touches, because I seem to have a difficult time with them. Naturally I complete this challenge with a 1-touch shot instead. Then we have another 10-second timer, which I of course realize after a few misses. But even with this timer, it's not that easy. But as compensation for not doing it in the prior 2, I complete this one with a 2-touch. Then we have another easy one, which I fumbled twice before putting in a well-placed shot. Now this one is just me. At first, my biggest issue came with the positioning, which led me to not have a consistent way of shooting. As every time I actually hit the ball, I ended up coming in from a different angle. And when I did get close at times, I was quite far away 99% of the time. But then I remembered something I did in another community training, which is just a very cheesy strat, and that is to place myself where the ball is going to land before realistically seeing where that is. And I call this a cheesy strat, not because it is easy, because you can probably tell that it wasn't for me, but I feel it cheesy because you would rarely do this in a game, much less me, as I am quite bad at predicting the ball's trajectory, and most of my opponents will just take the ball before it touches the ground. But I felt this was a fun way to complete this challenge, so I kept trying, and then I accidentally restarted the sequence before I could see if it went in. Whoops. Well, after a few more close tries, I randomly tried to do it the right way. I'm starting to see a pattern here. Here comes another lesson in Rocket League geometry. Of course, I didn't listen during the last one, as I continuously fling the ball everywhere except on goal. Well, it seems my best shots come from me catapulting the ball, so that was my main technique I tried. Let's see if that's actually what works though. No, of course not. My best shot comes from a side dash, which fun enough is my main way of shooting during matches. Another easy shot with a lot of time on my hands, meaning the goal I score would most likely never happen in a match. Now this one looked hard, and I think it is. And even as I score this with an early 2-touch, well, just listen. Oh my god! Oh my god! Ah yes, I return to the flying flounder. Although I quickly cease my futile aerial efforts for a more controlled approach, which often leads to the bounce against the backboard. But sometimes the ball doesn't bounce. Now here we have a ball which it seems I couldn't reach, which I thought strange, since I should be able to get to it. And this is where I realized something I've been doing wrong. You see, the ball starts moving once you move the car, obviously. But I realized that when I restart a sequence, I'm holding down the acceleration, which starts the ball before the car starts driving, probably because the car isn't touching the ground the second it spawns. And as soon as I realized this, I started hitting the ball, quite consistently. Of course, now the main issue became hitting it towards the goal, which was very difficult as the shots often went wide. But then I stopped dashing when I shoot, instead just jumping into the ball, which gave me much more consistent results, and later led to this clean effort. Ooh! Now this ball took me by surprise. What shocked me the most was how easy it was. Here we have another series of shots where I simply make it harder on myself than it needs to be. But with the right approach, I send it in. Come on, nice! Another shot where I try to get a 2-touch from below the ball, and I'm quite shocked that it worked so well. By this point, I've realized the faults in my floundering ways, so I try to do it with a ground approach, and I seem to avoid hitting it straight against the wall, instead aiming for the goal and trying to tap it in with the second touch, and get incredibly close a few times. And as you should know by now, I get it in with a 1-touch. Oh, nice, nice! Now, I don't know a gaming idea of turning left and reversing as my main early strategy, but as soon as I came to my senses, I was making some progress. I even found I had a lot of room to make big turns, which led to me putting too much effort into my shots, but when I got gentler, it took only about 2 tries to get it in. Nice! Now looking at this shot, I wondered to myself, why did it take me so long to complete it? Until I saw myself floundering in the air once more, and I'm completely speechless. And funnily enough, the first time I managed to just shoot straight is of course the one time it goes in. Now we have a similar shot, just reverse, and with the added flair of me needing to get it in the air with my first touch. And I figured out instantly that it was all about timing and hitting the ball at the right time to not overshoot or undershoot it. I could feel the spirit of Zlatan in my bones with that one.
Quite done so. Ibrahimovic, surely not. Oh!
Now for the penultimate shot. I tried a lot of approaches. Bouncing against the corner, running it down the side, trying to hit it off the wall. Everything but an air dribble, because that is too high above my pay grade. Then I managed to get some consistency by carrying the ball and launching it in the direction of the goal. Now I admit, it was a difficult shot, but with a nice 2-touch, I got it in with the crown on my hot shot. And now, for the final shot. The shot to prove I have ascended to the level of champion. I knew this was going to be difficult, but I proudly face this incoming challenge, no matter how long it's... Well, that's that. I guess I'm done with the video then. Psych! On this channel, we leave nothing half finished. I'll be honest, I thought this was going to be much more difficult. I thought I was going to be forced to air dribble, shoot from the ceiling, among other crazy things I've seen people do. But it turns out, it wasn't that bad actually. Only took about 2 hours in total. That's probably because champion isn't that high of a rank. Like as I said, my peak was diamond, and champ is just right after that. But I have to say, the training definitely worked, because right after this I could tell my aerials were more consistent. My shooting was more consistent, and my ability to read the ball got so much more consistent. Of course, that doesn't mean all those abilities aren't still at a very questionable level, but I see a great big difference between when I first started playing again and now. And that's one of my favorite parts about this game, just seeing how much I improve after every game. It makes it so, even when I lose, I don't feel bad, because I had fun and got better, which is something I can't say for all competitive games I play. And if you'd like to see more Rocket League on this channel, just leave a comment and let me know. I already have a Rocket League tournament ready to be uploaded in just a week or so, which I look forward to quite a bit. And if you made it this far, why not share this video with someone who'll enjoy it? Now, have a terrific day!